Hey guys, it's Adi here with Geek on Gadgets, and this is our review of the LG G4. Starting off with the design of the G4, I would say it's as close to perfect as you could reasonably expect in today's days in terms of a flagship device and what you'd want for it. With the 5.5-inch QHD display and the actual, just the dimensions of the device, it's very similar to the G3, and that's not really a bad thing. The G3 was a very nice looking device, and this is a very nice slim profile device with even a very minute curve that you can just notice. You feel it more than you see it, but it's there, and it just gives the phone a whole nother range of, just dimensions, just make it feel a lot better. The back, of course, I have the genuine leather back. Better than I expected. It's very nice. It's been holding up very nicely in terms of scratches. In terms of the actual leather itself, it's been nice, but the stitching, as you can see, has become a bit discolored. Unfortunately, the corners of the leather have started to wear away when in my pocket. So as you can see, all four corners, these are not from drops. These are just, I guess putting it in and out of the pocket, just wearing away, rubbing off. Of course, I've also become a fan of LG's rear-facing buttons, and as always, as with the G3 and the G3 Beat and now the G4, they just feel so right with your hand, and it's very easy to get used to. Although I had to say I don't very much use the power button on the back, since I usually just double tap the screen to wake it and sleep it. So I haven't been back here much except for using it as a camera shutter and a volume rocker. One thing that surprised me about the design was that I expected this ceramic plastic here on the side to be super scratched. Fortunately, it isn't. I mean, I've been using it for about 3 weeks now. There aren't really any major scratches on this plastic except for one ding here where I think I dropped the phone, so that's not really a scratch. So that's, it's relieving. I expected it to be a scratch magnet, so that's nice that it's not. Of course, worth mentioning is the G4's QHD display, which is absolutely stunning. It's, very nice. The colors are amazing, and it just has excellent color reproduction. It's impossible to see any pixels on it. It's a very, very nice display, and LG are known for that, so there's no surprises there really, except of how good it is. Of course, up top on the G4 we have an 8-megapixel front-facing camera, which is actually very impressive. It takes some very nice shots, and they always come out nicely. They do sometimes look a bit fake or a bit underexposed, but it does also have the feature where you beautify yourself and it takes off any blemishes. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but my face is looking quite nice right now. So we can just move it back to normal. So it sometimes ends up looking too fake, but it is a nice touch, especially if you're, just messing around. The rear-facing main camera, of course, also the 16-megapixel f1.8 lens with the laser autofocus, the color spectrum sensor, it delivers. It does not disappoint one bit. The pictures are very detailed, almost always in focus, and it just looks very nice. And of course, if you're interested in going into the advanced settings, you can always switch over here to the manual mode, where we can, as mentioned, you can adjust the ISO, the shutter speed, manual focus, white balance, basically, just take full control over it. And it's something we're seeing more and more. The Lumias have it with the Lumia camera, and now with the G4 we have it, and it works very nicely if you know what you're doing. Photos taken are super detailed, and they hardly lose any detail, and they never appear out of focus. They're always very crisp and clean, and so kudos to LG for making a really good main camera. Also related to the actual camera is the fact that you can double tap on the rear button, or double click actually, more than double tap, and it'll take a image straight from the lock screen. So let's try that out again, and it'll take it into focus first, so it might take a few seconds more, but it's worth getting an actual clearer picture. So I'm going to double press now. And you see, it took about maybe a second after I double press to take the image, but once you get the image, you can see it's completely in focus, as if you had, actually taken the time to tap to select the focus area. In terms of software on the G4, it is running Lollipop, but of course it has an LG skin. It's a very unintrusive skin. It's actually very nice. I don't mind it at all. It has the nice sliders. It has, LG's quick remote to use the IR blaster. It's a very smooth skin. It's not ugly like TouchWiz or anything, and it is really nice. On the left-hand side of the screen, you have what is basically, your quick app. So it's like you can completely control the music from here. You have your calendar, you have your step counter. I'll get to that in a second. You have smart settings where depending on your location, it'll, turn on Bluetooth, turn off Wi-Fi, turn on music when you connect your headphones. It's really smart stuff. And like I said, the software is very smooth, it's very nice. The apps aren't really ugly. I mean, I don't like the default, download contact icons, but, you'll live with them. One thing I mentioned about these smart settings is in the LG Health, you have a step counter which actually can sync up to multiple fitness bands. Unfortunately, it doesn't sync up to my Microsoft band, so I have 2 different step counts, but it's still nice to be there. And if you have a supported fitness band, it will, sync up and get more accurate readings from your band. In terms of actual performance, of course, the G4 runs a Qualcomm Snapdragon 808, not the 810 due to those overheating issues. Unfortunately, there is a price to pay occasionally, once every 3 days or so. If I forget to clear my app drawer, the phone will slow down. Keys, it's where you type and then 30 seconds later keys appear. It'll be very, very slow for about a minute or two, and then it'll just snap right back into it. So it's not a major issue as long as you get used to, maybe every night just, clear all. You should have no problem, but if you do forget to do that, it will occasionally slow down. But thankfully, there is absolutely no overheating issues. I've never held the phone and felt it to be uncomfortably warm, except when I was uploading a video directly through it while running a hotspot, so you have everything running. It was very taxing, so I won't even put points against that for that. In terms of gaming, the QHD screen on the G4 along with the Adreno 418 processor and 3GB of RAM, it certainly doesn't disappoint. It's very nice in gaming. I haven't had any real issues. Games, didn't take especially long to load. They resumed quite quickly and they're always responsive. Hardly ever any stutter or lag, even on, very high, taxing games. So, if you're using it as a gaming device or a multimedia device, you shouldn't have any problems at all. Most importantly, in terms of battery life. Now, LG are really big on saying that they have a removable battery. The battery life is a bit interesting. When I first got the phone, especially when on 4G, the battery would barely last 6 hours. Switching back to 3G, you'd have pretty impressive battery life, easily lasting a day. Some days I'm charging it at 10 p.m., some days I'm charging it at 4 p.m. So it's not very consistent, but in general, if you're staying off LTE or 4G, you're definitely going to get a lot better battery life on the 4G and closer to the numbers that they're stating. I haven't actually gone a full day, by like maybe 11 p.m. If I'm out all day but minimal usage, I'll get back home and it's at 5% and giving me a warning. But I never actually had it turn off from empty battery, so I guess, it gets the job done and it lives throughout the day. Of course, another big selling feature that LG are pointing out on the G4 is the microSD slot, which supports up to 2 terabyte microSD cards. So you're good to go, whenever 2 terabyte microSD cards actually exist, they will be supported. Overall, in terms of the G4, I've dropped my Lumia 930 and my Lumia 830 in favor of it, and I do not regret it one bit. It didn't take much to get used to Android. I really like some of the features. Some of them I don't like as much, but Google Now has been pretty useful, although occasionally it keeps forgetting nicknames. Like if I tell it, call my brother, it'll have to ask me once every 2 or 3 days, who's your brother? Or it'll ask me, who's your wife or whatever. So it seems to be forgetting that a lot, and I don't know what's up with that. But overall, I really love the G4. It's a very impressive device, and I just can't get over the design. Everyone who sees it says it's a very nice design, and they don't actually believe that this is a stock cover. They think that, I changed the covers or something, but nope, this is how it comes. So the G4 final words, verdict on it would be, if you're looking for a flagship, I haven't tried out the S6 or the S6 Edge, but even if I don't try them out, I have no regrets as getting this as my main phone because, it's simply really, really good. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys around 9.